Oscar BEVIS, IFL, TV, MTK Global, the best looking man in boxing is standing behind the camera and Joe Cordina's in front of it. Hello, mate.
Not too bad, pal, not too bad.
You ain't been on, what did you say to me? You ain't been on IFL since 2019. So I'm going to ask you how you've been in that time. I know not much has gone on, but you should really have a long answer.
I should have a long answer, but at the same time, I remember it was after my fight, it was a couple of months, and then, which I was just relaxing and spending time with the family because I was in camp for a long time. And then COVID hit, so I've been locked up. It's like open prison, isn't it?
Yeah. It's like a sort of category C prison. Yeah. Where you was on such a roll as well, like you were winning titles in good fights against unbeaten fighters, and you were on such a roll. Do you feel like that sort of just zapped all the sort of momentum out of your career? I mean, not that it's going to be harmful in the long run, but do you feel like in that moment it just sort of zapped everything?
Yeah and no. As in I was on a roll, and I was picking up titles, and I was moving closer to my dream, which is being a world champion. But at the same time, it was COVID was a blessing in disguise for me, because I had a hand injury, and I had to get it sorted. And me stepping up the levels, and my fight in May 2020 was meant to be a tough opponent, like someone like Johnny Gonzalez, or who else we were looking at? We were looking at a couple of fighters anyway, but that sort of fighter, I can't go into a fight like with one hand. So for me, I needed to get it done. So yeah, COVID was a blessing in disguise for me, but at the same time, I've had a lot of time to work on certain things that I was maybe a little bit or neglecting in my boxing, and I've had a chance to work on that now. And on the March 20th, I'll show everything I've been working on.
Yeah, I want to come on to March 20th, which isn't far away now, in a bit, but yeah, are we talking about the potential where you could have gone forward in your career and almost had to, shortened your career by a couple of years? You could have gone forward in your career with a hand injury, and in a couple of years when you were at the level you wanted to be, it could have been like a big time disaster.
Yeah, it could have, because that could have been the point of winning and losing a fight, because these people, you could, like, especially at world level, you can whack them with everything and they'll still keep coming and coming and coming. And if you've got a bad hand, then for me, it was at my last 3 fights, I've had a bad hand, but it was at a level where I could use my boxing skill and sort of get around their sort of, if you understand what I'm saying. But yeah, at the world level, then you hit them, they're still going to keep coming unless you knock them spark out. Yeah, you can outbox them, but you still got to hit them hard to keep them at bay. And I wasn't able to do that in my last 3 fights where my hand was that bad. Yeah, and I was just glad that I say I'm glad. Like I said, it was a blessing in disguise for me. I needed to get it done, and finally I got it done, and now my hand's better, and now I'm ready to show everything on March 20th.
Let's talk about the man in front of you on March 20th, Faroukh Korbanov. Faroukh Korbanov. I know he's fought twice and come up short twice for the European title, but yeah, tell us a little bit about what you know about Faroukh. And I can imagine you've had little clips of him shown to you, probably not too much, but what do you know about Faroukh?
Well, there's not much to have a look at on YouTube and whatever else. I've heard about him.
Is that a positive? Because sometimes it can be when there's not too much and you don't really know too much about someone.
Yeah and no. Like, obviously, fighters anyway that I get matched up against, I always have a look, maybe like not even 5 minutes. I'll have a little look, see what I notice I'm doing, like things that I recognise I'm doing over and over again. So I'll look at that, I'll take that away, and then I'll let Tony do the rest, which is watch him and work on certain things and come up with a game plan. But like, I've been in the amateurs where I've watched someone over and over and over again on video, and I get in there, fight them, they come out and can completely different things to what I've just watched. So same with Mashadod. I went out to fight Mashadod thinking he was going to come at me for the whole 12 rounds, and he went on a back foot for the first like 6 to 8 rounds. It threw me off a little bit. I thought, okay, well, I'll just nick these rounds then, and that's what I did. And then when he tried to press, I was already too much ahead and in my rhythm, so he couldn't get nowhere near me. But at the same time, Someone like Kopanov, he's experienced. He's boxed for a European title twice, come up short, but at a good level. And he's from Kyrgyzstan, which normally they're very good amateurs. So I think his boxing ability is going to be decent. So yeah, I'm going to have to be switched on.
I don't know where you said he was from then, but I just know that I couldn't find it on a map. Where is it?
Kyrgyzstan. I think I've pronounced it right.
I have absolutely no idea. But it sounds hard as nails.
Yeah, they are.
And when you said about Mashadod, by the way, I just got to say, everyone thought Mashadod would come forward because that is like just the Mashadod style. But yeah, like this fight, is this sort of just one and then go and you're back where you want to be? Because I know people would probably get their lips licking a bit more for a domestic dust-up or perhaps an opposition we'd be familiar with. But is this just one fight and then go time? Because you make it clear where you want to be. Yeah. We know where you want to be. We know what sort of level fighter you are. So is it just this fight and then go?
Yeah, that's my plan. Like I'm 30 this year. I ain't got long left in, but I haven't got like a year or two. I've got a good like 5 years left in me. But at the same time, I want to be fighting this next year at a decent level. Try and get a world title this year, and then the next for 4 or 5 years, if that's however long I go on for, at the highest level. So yeah, I want to have this fight and then move on.
Do you allow yourself to look at the world scene and sort of assess it and watch the fights and take what you can from different fighters, or is that just when you're there then you worry about that?
No, I do it. I've done that from once I started boxing. I always look at people that I'm drawn to style wise, and I think, okay, what does he do right? What does he do good or do well, or what don't he do well, and try not to do that in a spar or in training. So I always pick things from different fighters that I like and take them away. And my favourite fighter is Sugar Ray Leonard, and his footwork's unbelievable, and I've tried to implicate that in my boxing, and how fluent he is on his feet, and which I'm sure I've showed that in my boxing career. But at the same time, the likes of Canelo, I like how he picks his punches and slots them in. I love that. Marquez for combination punching. There's a lot of fighters out there that I like, and especially at my weight at this present moment, there's a lot of good fighters out there, top level and some of the best in the world, pound for pound. So yeah, I take little bits from them, and I think they're all at the world championship level. They're all unbelievably great in everything they do. So yeah, I'd be silly not to take certain bits from them.
And you're not coming back at middleweight. I know you've had lockdown, but you've managed to keep the pounds off. You are a super featherweight, Joe Cordina.
Yeah, well, I should be a fat guy really. The amount I eat, but yeah, at the start of lockdown, the first lockdown, my old man got a big yard where I was able to put bags, all gym equipment there. So I had my little setup, all weights. I had everything I needed, and I was running, doing 50-mile bike rides with a couple of mates, and yeah, getting the work in. So I wasn't sitting at home just chilling, and it was just,
like everyone else.
Yeah, but it was just normal. It was just a normal for me. It wasn't anything that I've never been doing for the last 12, 13 years. I've been training day in, day out. So it was just normal for me.
Let's talk about Oscar Valdez and Miguel Berchelt. I don't even know where to start. I mean, that was like boxing porn for the sort of fans who love an absolute all-out Mexican war. Yeah. From a fan's perspective, just take the hat off that it's a division that you're obviously looking at. From a fan's perspective, just how enjoyable was that?
Oh, it was unbelievable, wasn't it? I didn't expect that. I thought Oscar Valdez could outbox him and be a bit too smart for him. But at the same time, he's a very big super featherweight to Berchelt, and he's tough as nails, and probably one of the biggest punches in that division. So I just thought if he can stick to his boxing, Oscar Valdez could win. But I just didn't think he'd do it like the way he did. He hurt him, and to be honest, he beat him up for the amount of rounds he went on for. And it was actually, I can't say good to see Berchelt lose, but it was a great display of boxing from Oscar Valdez, and he showed that he can box, he can punch, he can do it all.
I mean, like you said, it's not like people wrote Oscar Valdez off completely, but the method he done it in, I suppose, was unexpected. Do you think he's put a lot of people on the division in notice? I mean, he must have done. There's not much more you could do to Miguel Berchelt than that to put people on notice.
Nah, and I don't think there's not many people out there that could do what he did to Miguel Berchelt. Yeah, they can outbox him. There's a lot of people in there in that division that can outbox him. And maybe there's a couple in there that can push him back and have a toe-to-toe war with him and maybe nick a win there. But the way he did it, where he boxed him, put him over a few times, had it stood there with him and had it with him as well, and then knocked him out. That was just it was a great bit of boxing to watch.
And you haven't just got that as well. We've got Frampton-Herring that's going to take place in. Should know my dates working in boxing, but it's going to take place in April time. Yeah, possibly 4 or 5 weeks. Yeah, that's a fight that's been brewing for a while. Where do you sort of stick your hat on that one?
I don't know. I can't say I've won any of them to win. It's a fan friendly fight. I remember when I was in the amateurs, I seen Jamal Herring. Always a great fighter. Obviously, he's gone on to do what he's done in the pros and win a world title. Now you've got Frampton. He's an ex-world champion, former world champion. He's fighting for it again. So I'm probably gonna have to sit on the fence. No, I can't. I can't sit on the fence.
I say that's what one thing you will get abuse for on this channel is sitting on the fence. No splinters in the arse, Joe. Come on.
No, I can't. I'm just gonna go with Jamal Herring because of the size difference. He used to box at light welter as an amateur, and he's big for light welter. And then you've got Frampton that's just kept coming up the weights. I think he might be a little bit too small, but he proved a lot of people wrong in the past with certain fights. So yeah, I won't be surprised if he do win. Frampton wins, but if I had a tenner, I'd stick it on Herring.
I'm sure you got more than a tenner in the bank. Look at the coat. Come on. So yeah, obviously Frampton-Herring, and there's word that Shakur's going to be sort of the immediate mandatory for the winner. I know Archie Sharp's knocking him out of the WBO ranking, been calling for Jamal for about 2 years now. Then I suppose, are you next in line? Are you in that sort of bracket below the mandatory guys at the moment? I guess, can we put you in that sort of queue? Because there's always a queue for people who want world titles. Can we put you in that queue?
Nah, listen, I'm realistic. I ain't going to start shouting out their names, you get me? Because at this present moment, I got no right to. Yeah, we can and try and look for a bit of clout. But at the same time, I'm realistic. I want to get this fight out the way, which I'm not looking past him because I know he is tough and he's never been stopped and he's been with some good opposition. And like I said, from Kyrgyzstan, they're very good amateurs, so I know his boxing ability is going to be decent. So yeah, I can't look past him. But at the same time, I want to step up now after this fight. I get this win. I want to step up. Whoever it is, I don't care. I just want to get close to a world title, and then when I'm thereabouts and I've earned my spot, then I can start having a little moan at these world champions and say, "Come on, and let's have it." But until then, I can't sit here and say, like I said, I've been out over a year, coming up a year and a half. Well, I'm going to come back and start shouting out everyone's name. Nah, it don't work like that. So yeah, for me, I'll earn my shot anyway.
All right, good stuff. We're not that far away, and then you can get yourself in the bubble. And yeah, you're looking forward to that bubble experience because I suppose being away from the sort of bright lights of boxing, because you know, like boxers always turn up to shows and that. Being away from the bright lights and all the press conferences, and away from Eddie spouting his usual charm and all that, you're going to be chucked in, and it's going to be like an intense version of that. Are you ready for all that?
If you would have seen my amateur career and come and come away some of the countries we've been to and some of the places we boxed at, then that's luxury compared to that. So listen, I'm fine with it. It is what it is. And when we went to Monte Carlo, they were saying, "Oh, this is a different atmosphere." I said, "Listen, it's no different atmosphere. I've done this all before. I had 180 odd amateur fights. I'm boxing some of the shitholes of the world." So for me, yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's a new experience. But at the same time, not if you get me, like as the atmosphere sort of thing. But yeah, being in a bubble, I suppose, yeah, it's going to be a new experience.
Can I just ask you this? I might have got this completely off, but I was speaking to someone who was telling me about a GB amateur trip where a Russian team were having breakfast. And was it you who went and sat down in the middle of them? I'm sure they said it was you. Like, they was all having breakfast in the hotel and there was one space and you just waltzed up and sat down. It might not have been you, but I'm sure they said it was you.
Who said it?
I can't remember, but I had this conversation with someone in the bubble. And I just got a feeling it was you.
I've done a lot of mad things as an amateur. But I can remember, like I said, I've been all around the world. I've probably jumped in the middle of a few Russians before and had a couple of dirty looks. But yeah, I can't remember exactly if that was me.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought I'd ask because I can't remember who said it. But yeah, I'm going to find out. Right, Joe. Sweet. Thank you for speaking to IFL TV and see you in a couple of weeks.
Wicked, mate. Thank you.